Welcome back to episode 163 of Who Should You Choose. We are getting to the end of the year, a full year of Who Should You Choose. And again, I want to say thank you to everyone that's still watching these and still listening. I get so many comments where it's people that are like, I haven't played the game in 6 months, but I watch these every day. So it means a lot. And again, going into next year, I think I'm going to make it a Monday through Friday guaranteed thing with a little bit more production behind it. Essentially, I just come down and I go through all your comments and just kind of, pretty much unedited, but, I want to make sure that I can still do it consistently, find some time to do it, and I'm really enjoying this series. I'm having a lot of fun doing it and talking with a lot of you guys because I don't get a lot of chance to do that. So let's just get into the comments and questions from yesterday, all right? So Pat McAfee, he says, Sleeves, is this NHL 26 reveal week? The current word is a September 12th release, meaning that we are a week and a half out. Something has got to be on the way. September 12th. I have no idea. I've never heard of September 12th as the thing. I know that I talked about that EA call that showed the release windows, and it had NHL ahead of FIFA. I know Tactics and some other creators kind of latched onto that and reiterated that's what it looks like. We have no official word. The 12th is a pretty good guess. Just looking at if we go off what was released by EA, in terms of their earnings call. In terms of reveal week, reveals usually happen on Mondays, and then usually like midweek, and it's usually around noon Eastern time. That's when social media is at its peak. So if it didn't happen yesterday, I would guess that next week we start seeing stuff, because even if it wasn't an early release date, I'm pretty sure like August, like early August was when we got to see stuff for NHL 24 and even 23. And that was when they had much later, or at least they had much later release dates that were confirmed. So I would think next week at the latest, we get something, whether that's a cover athlete reveal. We used to get the cover athlete at the awards, so that was it's a ways different now. So we'll see. My guess would be next week. Doc says something interesting is EA is introducing to FC26 is 2 separate gameplays. Oh God, dude, I have said this for years because I'm with you. Competitive and realism. Competitive where the gameplay is faster and more arcade-like, and realism where the gameplay is slower and similar to real life. It's not released, so we don't know if it's good yet, but I wonder if there's a possibility someday we get where all sports games offer both gameplay options and everybody can pick the way you want. Love the discussions, appreciate the videos. Man, I've said this for a long time, if you've been watching my channel, that like you'll never get a year where even 70% of the player base can agree if the gameplay is good or not. Too many people either want arcade, like NHL hits, kind of like what we have now, or they want super realistic, slower, than what we've got, more like NHL 22. And if you go back and watch my NHL 22 videos, I said this before, I disliked NHL 22, but I didn't realize what we had. And that was probably because I was getting much worse at the game. 22 was my fall off in terms of being able to be half decent at the game. I'm half decent, but you know what I mean. 21 was probably the best I've ever been at NHL, and maybe that had something to do with it. And I was just being, a big baby about it. But 22, there was really no glitches. But what I found was hockey's so random. And when you're playing online competitively, you don't want random. Like, you do, but you don't. Like, obviously you want something that mimics real hockey, but you want X's and O's. You do this, X result happens, right? Like, that's more, because how many times do you hit a one-timer and it's like, how does that not go in? I scored all the time, right? But hockey is a luck-based sport. That's the realism to it, which is crazy. So I would love competitive and realism like gameplays. Here is the issue. It's just simply the player base. So imagine you now have modes where they now are split between 2 different play styles as well. There just isn't enough players. Like, you just won't even find games in November. So that's a big reason, I know specifically, why EA had such a hard time implementing new modes and doing things like that, because there just isn't a big enough player base. And yes, it is on them to increase the player base, but you also have to understand, it is the 4th. Honestly, now, I'm pretty sure MLS had more revenue generated last year than NHL. Like, it is the 4th, almost the 5th most popular sport in North America in its main market, right? So that's more of a sport issue. And we've talked about this a ton. It's the cost. Like that's the reason why I didn't play hockey growing up as a kid, and I had to wait till I was in my 20s to play. Right? You just don't. If you don't have a wealthy family, it's very difficult to play hockey. Or if you don't have family that sacrifices everything, it's a very difficult sport to play because of how expensive it is. Also, reason why it makes it part of the best because it requires so much, and the technology behind it is what makes it insane. You're flying around on knives on your feet. Like if you actually, if someone's never seen hockey before, they see it, they're just like, So again, I would love the two competitive things. I would love it for Hut Champs, but the problem is there wouldn't be consistency. So Hut Champs isn't all the time. It's for the most competitive players, but the competitive players don't just play Hut Champs, but also play Rivals the beginning of the year. Then usually they just play Hut Champs. But you know what I'm saying? Like it would be hard to be if it's not consistent. I think this would be great for a lot of the player base and fix a lot of issues that they can't fix. Sleeved gaming. Hell yeah, man. I picked an awful gimmick in 2017. But now I'm an adult, and here I am. Johnny says there's a couple things that could be done for gameplay to make it better. Instead of D2D type one-timers going in a majority, one of the winger cycles somewhere to create space. I think that cycling is still super underused in this game. People when you get up into higher difficulties in Division 1, but on my climb, what I found was it's the same type of goals that go in, but how you set them up changes drastically. When you get in Division 2 and 1, people can actually defend. You have to learn how to cycle to open up the one-timer. You can't just go to the corner, guy over commits, back to the point, hammer it home, right? Like, you really have to get creative. But I'm with you here. The second one is the forward pop-out. The second is the forward pop-out forwards should score from one-timers, not the D-min a mile back. So I think you're talking about, like, Stamkos and Ovechkin. Those go in. I think people don't take them as much. One of my favorite goals is when you're on the power play specifically, and your wingers will kick out really wide, because there's only 4 defenders, unless like you can get that face-off type winger open, and it is one of the most satisfying goals in the game. But the problem is that defensemen and players actually intercept pucks in NHL 25, right? They actually make intercepts, so you can't just blindly fire it through because it'll get picked off. So I do think that is an underused way. I think this about the D2D one-timers. They should go in far less than they do, but they should still go in. Okay? Unscreened, greened up one-timers that a goalie sees, and it's like the sees part, and it's you and the defender a mile out. That's got to be saved. Like, EA has to make it where that is saved. And if you watch, it's not so much the shot from the skill-based one-timers that's causing it. It's when you get a skill-based one-timer, the goalie it's like, he like does one of these like with his glove hand. He like goes like this instead of trying to make a save like and actually look like a real goalie. If you slow it down and watch it, he does this weird thing all the time. My man Padre talked about it for years, or ever since 23. It's this weird animation that they have in the game so that those goals go in, and they just need to knock that off. And I think if I loved one-timers being back in the game. I really did. I said for years that guys, when I say I wanted one-timers back in the game, we could not score them. You'd be on a 2-on-1 with a 99 shooter, and you weren't scoring a one-timer. Ever since 23, it was a mess. And they went so far to the other way that it became kind of frustrating. So the more elite the player is at one-timers, the higher rate they score. Give the hockey player that and some arcadey thumb movement stuff. Give both groups to have a row. There's a ton of sorry, bro. I'm trying to get through this. You might have gameplay as good as it gets for now. I think that like if you just, it sounds so simple, and I'm sure that if they fixed it, there would be something else that comes up. But if they didn't touch gameplay this year, and all they did was stop letting in unscreened one-timers from the point, okay, that would probably knock down D2D one-timers like in terms of like the success rate by like 30%. 30%. Okay. Second, get rid of the speed boost you get when you L2 skate down the boards. And, like, we might, like, there will never be people that just universally agree. But I personally think that's all it's needed. I don't. Here's my fear. They changed others. Oh, and the reverse checks. Oh, God. Okay, never mind. It is a longer list. The reverse hitting in this game, funny, absolutely ridiculous. There is no one in the NHL that can carry the puck at full speed, even with Lane Hudson running at him. Let's go with a puck and hammers him. That doesn't happen. It's NHL hits type stuff. And then the get rid of the forechecking with your ass. With those four things, I think we're all right. You know, clean up X factors, like get rid of some of the useless ones, make some new ones. God, man, we're close. Quality of life, fix the menus for the love of God, dude. I play other games now, and it's not that other games' menus are so good. It's that when I go and look at NHL, they are the same since NHL 17. Like, it's the exact same. If they can't figure out a way to tear down the code to rebuild the menus, then they got to remove almost everything from the menu so that it is much more fluid. Like, I don't know. It's a mess. That's all for today. Drive through and pick up your fries at the window. Sleeves gets free fries. Let's go, buddy. Not enough cards in the game. Repetitive. Okay, so it's funny you say that. My man Maze Jolt actually DM'd me last night, and he counted players again. So here's the numbers right now, right? NHL 22, 12,268 individual cards. Okay? NHL 23. NHL 23 was when the 5-day work cycle changed, where they went down to halfway, a couple of way through the year. I believe 23 was when they did the 3-day-a-week cycle, or maybe it was 22. I think it was 23. All right, so they lose 2 days of content. NHL 23, 11,621 players. NHL 24, 11,141 individual players. What's crazy about these numbers is that they don't include tiers or upgradable. Like, they just include the one card, right? NHL 25, we are, if reports are right, September for the release, okay? We are 6-7 weeks out, all right? 9,687 cards. So a little under 1,500 less cards. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you think about it, 1,500 cards. That's a lot, man. That is a lot. They need to change the way they release content. And I don't care if it's going away from the 5 p.m. release every day and it's just once a week. But that once a week has a week's worth of good content in there that's different. Like, I don't hate that. You give relevant cards the next day to stuff that happened, you know? Don't remain rigid on it. Like, fantasy cards. If you're going to double down on fantasy cards this year, if they do, again, that was a good thing they did this year. Immediate upgrades. And I get it. You can't have people working at 1 a.m. the next morning. Upgrade the fantasy cards. For the love of God, there's no reason. You're in office working on content. I've seen the file of which you have to update to fix a fantasy card. Seconds. Just fix it. I don't know. Unless there's some new tech thing that's busting it, I don't know. I don't understand why they have to do it for 5 p.m. for fantasy cards specifically. Worst part of HUT is the lack of rewards. Not worth playing the game. Too expensive coin to make MSPs. See, I disagree with that. Because, okay, you put in 4 or 5 hours a week in NHL, you can get MSP for free. Easily. The problem is that you have to do certain things. And you've got to play squad battles and do things that aren't fun. That's my problem with it, right? Like, to get one of the best cards in the game, if it took you 4 or 5 hours, like, I think that wouldn't be terrible. But I want to be able to play Rivals the whole time to get it, you know? And I think that the only way to do that is if the objectives and the ways you earn things scale based on if you're playing, like I said, it should be earn 100,000 XP with event items to unlock the master set player items. But if I'm doing things in Rivals or Champs with those cards, 10x the XP gain on what you're doing. No, maybe not 10x, but you get what I'm saying. It would just fix it. You know, I think get rid of everything that's untradeable. Although that's an EA thing. EA loves to do that in all games, I think. Get rid of all, like, the only time a card should not be able to be sold is if you use it in a set. Much like MLB. That system works. Just, you can still use the card, too. You get it back. That's how account-bound cards should work, but they don't. I have to say... Oh, okay. Cameron says, I have to say, I disagree with making the XP path better being the solve for rewards. Just make Rivals rewarding. Make squad battles rewarding. Okay, I'm going to need you. I hope you have a long sentence here, but it better say how you reward better because that just saying you need better rewards. What does that mean? Okay. Make champs rewarding. Making rewards one dimensional incentivizes sweats and exploits like D-ranking. Your only incentive right now is XP. Okay, so before I get into what you say, okay, the longer portion here. The reason why if you make the XP path better is it allows people to play the game. Why are we making squad battles rewards better? Why are we making rivals rewards better? If I don't want to play squad battles, am I just out of those rewards? Right? Like there should be something in those modes. I'm not saying there shouldn't be anything, but I'm saying that if you could earn all rewards from the XP path or something along the lines of it, that's how you get a great game. I don't want to log in and play squad battles, man. I don't. Just like there's people that don't like playing online, they don't want to have to play and grind rivals. They don't. This is the same thing. Play the game the way that you want, earn all of the rewards. Okay? Okay. That being said, make rivals rewards tiered. Okay? Tier 1, you get insane rewards every week for getting 15 or so wins. 500k plus in pack value. It's not unrealistic. Just look at the other Ultimate teams. D2, you get solid rewards. It goes down from there. The XP path is one minor part of many other Ultimate Team game modes. The fact that there are no real rewards for playing 6+ hours of rivals and champs every week is insane. It's the sole reason I stay casual. I can log on, do my chores in 30 minutes, and log off, and I never fall behind the power curve. I will complete the XP path as long as I play one champs weekend or 10 to 5 rivals games a month and do weekly XP challenges, reward grinding. I think we're saying the same thing, and maybe I didn't explain it correctly. Because what you just described, imagine Division 1 rewards could be in the XP path, right? Or something along those lines. Like, God, I got to go back and find the comment. It was like, if you're in Division 1, you get 5, like, much less wins required to get the... Actually, I don't even know. You should be rewarded by playing rivals immediately. There should be things that you can earn quicker because it is faster. Here is an example of what I would recommend. In Division 1 rivals, imagine an event starts, like you say you're grinding. Okay, an event starts, and you get an event card that you would normally put in your lineup to grind out objectives or whatever, right? Imagine you could put it in your lineup, right? And the cards have been pretty decent in terms of the overalls. Like, even the lowest overalls for an event are like 92 overall. If you go back and look at other NHLs, they'd still be 82s, right? You put them in your lineup and you score Division 1. That's like, 2,000 XP towards the XP of each. I'm not saying just an overall XP path. There should also be an individualized event XP path. So a new event drops every Friday. There's an XP path that you would grind through, right? That's what I would, the tiered reward system. That's how I think it should skew you way through, right? Like I think that's right, because the problem, there is a delicate balance, right? Division 1, you should get insane rewards. It's just a player-based thing. I think they should just give out insane rewards. The problem is that you've got such a small player base that they rubber band it too much. It's gone way too far. I don't disagree with your things here. But the XP pass should be the main focus of rewards. Like, you should just get an absurd amount of rewards. And rivals, I almost say that rivals, I hate that it's 30 wins a week. It's so basic. Why is it a week? Why is it 30 wins? Like, it should be like 50 wins over the season. But then I guess you stop playing rivals because there isn't... Well, you don't, because then it would be the XP path, right? Like, I don't know. Everyone wants more stuff for less. I don't even want more stuff for less. The Division 1 should have great rewards and go down from there. I don't disagree with that. I'm going to go back and find that comment about the rivals rewards. Or if anyone knows it, what video it was in, grab it for me. But it was a perfect fix for rivals. Thanks for the video, Sleevesy. I personally love to get centers. I'd love to centers get thrown out of the face-off, but we'll see. Oh, man. If you jumped early, you got your center thrown out? I don't hate that. I feel like there'd be an exploit, but I don't hate that. If you jump early, Did you see Thrash's video on the state of the series? He was talking about the North American sales from last year not being that bad in comparison to other major games and not just sports. But the most revealing part to me was apparently people that pre-ordered this game don't do it for HUT boost because the percentage of pre-orders is higher than the percentage of players competing that 7 days in a row achievement. There was a lot of things in Thrash's video. He did a really good job on that video. There was a lot of things that I think skew a narrative that don't highlight the actual issues. Because I know that he highlighted that it's like the number 3 selling game in Canada. When you look at console sales in North America, the U.S. represents roughly $8.5 billion in revenue for game sales. Canada doesn't even hit $600 million in revenue. So that's like 0.7%, right? So it's just like it's not even close when it's a very convenient chart to look at. I have seen a demographic breakdown of NHL or something from someone I trust, and it showed the player base an exceptional amount of 25 to 40 in terms of the age demographic. And if you've been playing, if you're in your 30s, franchise mode is still a thing. People play sports games for franchise mode. You just never hear about them because they play franchise mode and they're not the loud minority. The loud minority is Ultimate Team guys because they're on social media, they're in streams, it's packs, it's gambling, it's exciting. You risk a reward for wins. There's stuff on the line, like it's entertaining to watch. Franchise mode in all game modes drives. College football is a perfect example of it. EA came back and college football's Ultimate Team was on the back burner, wasn't even the main focus of the game. Crazy that in 2025 an EA Sports title did not have Ultimate Team as the main driver. It was franchise mode. So when he says people don't play HUT, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. HUT is not the most played mode. It is just the most talked about mode because there's a lot of money involved and people grind it. And it's Ultimate Team, right? World of Chell still gets almost as much as a HUT player base as NHL, right? There is a lot in NHL. There is EASHL, there's franchise, and there's HUT. And be a pro, but let's be honest. So it's not, I think people are too focused on HUT thinking is the main thing. It's not. Like pre-orders and stuff like that are because of franchise mode and ESHL. Like it's not like, and I think that some of us think that HUT is the end all be all. It's not, man. Like franchise mode is. It really is. When you look at the overall player base in terms of game sales. Now live service and the money they make from HUT, very important. Very important. It's not doing well. You can see that by just the people buying packs in the store. There used to be time. I remember when that $100 pack came out in NHL 19. I was at work. I think it was NHL 19, might have been 18. And you could get a legend. You get a choice pack, and it would have a bunch of different legends in there. And for $100, you knew you were getting something. And I remember there being like 5,000 or 10,000 of those packs in the store, gone immediately. Because you used to be able to see the counter of how many packs are available. There'd be packs like the big ones that are there for like weeks. The counter like isn't even moving down at all. Like you could, there's people asking what to do with their pre-order bonus stuff in November. Like HUD just didn't do well because of and I think Thrash was trying to say that the game, there was people, apparently Thrash saw people saying that the NHL game is going to be canceled. They're not going to keep making it. That's a hilarious thought, and I didn't even think that was a possibility that people thought that. It's not going anywhere. It's not. The NHL loves the NHL video game. So, yeah, so I think that Thrash's video was trying to disprove them. I couldn't believe there was actually people out there that think that NHL is going anywhere. So, the game is in trouble from a sense that it really needs to wake up from a live service standpoint. I'm not talking just about HUT. I'm talking about like online excitement, things like that. They need to generate noise, and they do a good job of it in certain aspects, but it's not nearly enough. So, I think the game will be fine. It's gonna keep coming out. It'll never go away unless, even if a new developer comes out and makes a game, which they won't because the revenue is not going to be high enough to justify a brand new hockey game that is good enough to take out EA. It's just it'll keep coming out, and we'll see what happens with 26. But that's gonna do it for today's Who Should You Choose. Thank you guys again for watching. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.